Really, he needs no introduction. If you know about NLP, then you probably know who he is. If you know anything about timeline therapy, which is pretty much the NLP organization that dominates this area, Tad James's group, David Shephard is pretty much Tad James's right-hand man. So he's a very important person. We're very, very, very lucky to have him here. And David is also here. He's speaking at the ABH convention, which is the American Board of Hypnotherapy, because he's the president of the American Board of NLP. Said that right, didn't I? So that's cool. So yes, he wears many hats. He's done some really cutting-edge things in NLP. And without further ado, I'd just like to introduce him and welcome him up here.
Thank you. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to move. There's all these empty chairs down here. So everybody move down to the front. There's me taking control of the rules. And if you want to, you could actually move closer. Because otherwise you're going to be going like, where did he go? Where did he go? So, let me check. How many people have done an NLP training? How many people have done an NLP practitioner training? NLP master practitioner? Oh, good. NLP trainer's training? Excellent. Good. So, yeah, as Bonnie says, I'm a master trainer of NLP. She did introduce me correctly this time as the president of the American Board of NLP. Last time she kind of introduced me as the president of everything. It was very nice, very flattering, but it wasn't true. So what I'm going to talk to you about tonight, so I was told to point you already, I didn't know what you were looking to talk to you about before. And all that stuff. So what I'm going to talk to you about tonight is something called Beyond the Matrix, the science behind the secret. How many people have read The Secret? Anybody know what it is? Even if you haven't read it, you know it. This whole idea of being able to manifest whatever you want in your universe. And so it's a great book, it tells you what to do, but it doesn't tell you how it works, or why it works. So what I'm going to share with you tonight is why it works and how it works. And so this evening is about quantum physics. Now if you're thinking like quantum physics, that sounds like pretty heavy duty. I'll be sharing quantum physics with you, but not in a way that quantum physics would normally be shared. Yeah. So if you've got any professors of quantum physics here, I apologize. I will be changing things around a little bit just to make it easier to understand. So the essence of what I'm saying is absolutely true to quantum physics, but if I was a professor of quantum physics at university, I probably wouldn't describe it this way. Okay. So imagine it's the late 1800s, and scientists in the late 1800s believed that they knew absolutely everything there was to know about the workings of the universe. Which is a fairly grandiose claim if you think about it. Because I don't know if you know, but 95% of the information on the planet wasn't around before 1963. That's the information that's around today. Yet at the end of the 1800s, scientists believed that they knew everything there was to know about the workings of the universe. There wasn't anything new to discover. There was only two things that they didn't yet fully understand. Fairly minor things. Light and optics. That was all there was left for them to understand. So if you think about it, they thought it was fairly minor things. Today we'd probably take that as being fairly major things. Now the reason why they said that they didn't fully understand the workings of light was because light seemed to behave differently than expected. And if you did science at school, you might have done this experiment. It's called the double slit experiment, where you take a light bulb and you take a piece of cardboard with a slit in it, and you take another piece of card, two slits in it. You project it on a screen. Anybody do that at school? You ever do that? Yeah. And what they expected to happen was that you would see a band of light just there, and a band of light just there. That's what they expected. That's not what they got. Because what they actually got was lots of bands of light and dark on the back. Like that. Which meant one thing and one thing only. Light must be a wave phenomenon. Because what you've got here is what you call an interference pattern. Now, interference pattern doesn't sound like complicated, it's not. All interference patterns. Have you anybody here ever thrown a pebble into a pond? Yeah, and you notice the ripples of movement coming out. If you take a whole handful of pebbles and you chuck them in the pond, you get lots of these circular ripples of waves of water, and they interfere with each other where they meet. That's all interference patterns. So, therefore, because they got this, what they said was like, what we had was waves of light coming through here. Then comes through this one, so we have little waves of light coming out of there like that. But these waves of light, you see, overlap with each other as they're coming out to get to the screen. And when they hit the screen, you get bands of light and dark. So that's solid. We've now proved that light is a wave, so there's nothing more to understand about it. But just for posterity, what would be a great idea is if we took a photograph. So they took the screen out here, and they put a photographic plate just there, and they took a picture of the interference pattern. Here's where the problem comes in. Photographic plates require light not to be a wave, but a particle. Because a photographic plate, and also digital cameras now, what happens is the molecules of photosensitive chemicals change when they're hit by a particle of light. So what we have is light's a wave, just here, but as soon as it touches this, it suddenly starts behaving like a particle, or a photon of light, if you put a photons of light. So, which is it? How do we know? So what they did was they changed this light source here. So what we'll do is we'll create a light source just here, which emits just one particle of light, and we'll see where it goes. There's only one particle. Strangely, when they released one photon of light through here, one photon, they still got an interference pattern on here, even though they only released one photon of light. So how does that work? So they're still wondering about this. So what they did was they released this photon of light, and they blocked this slit down at the bottom here, and the photon did this. Like that. It landed on the photographic plate, if this was blocked. But as soon as they opened that, the photon actually appeared to go half through this one and half through this one, and they got an interference pattern. So here's a question. Here's the thing about this. When there's only one slit open, the light behaves like a particle. When two slits are open, the light behaves like a wave. Okay? So it seems to change its behavior. Now here's a question for you. I'm going to throw out a number of rhetorical questions. You don't need to answer them. But they're questions all the way through which, start to make you wonder about things. Here's the first one. How does the light that's going through that slit there know whether this slit here is open or not? Because when that slit's closed, the light going through here behaves like a particle. When that slit there is open, it behaves like a wave. But how does it know whether this is open or not? Interesting. Now, there's a number of things in quantum physics which there are no answers for. So what the quantum physicists do is they invent a new theory which, if it were true, would explain what they're finding.